They are a group of people known as Jacobins, and they also call them Jacobins. Yakub writing the name. In early Roman history, they came as a group called Etruscans. And these are the ones who Constantine set as the devil's advocate. It's just judicials. When you ask Africans about the Osiris story from the tribal communities, they call it the holy drama, right? And they said that it was a court case. Somewhere around the time of the first recorded dynasty, some people came here from Nibiru to expedite the mining of the gold. We are familiar with that as Nuwapians. We know they came for the gold. Now, we know of the scientists that accompanied them. We know about Ninursin. We know about Erishkigal and Nergal. We know that Enki was a geneticist, and Mother Ninti was also what you call the lead nurse or the great doula. Mm-hmm. This we already know from our Nuwapian research. When you go into India, there was a scroll that gave them the description of the genome, but it was coded. They passed it off as a sex manual and call it the Kama Sutra. In the Kama Sutra, the energy harness of each one of the sex positions tells you what DNA codon is being activated. They use the lewd act of sex to make people absorb the study, but it's coded because only the people from the culture know that the code exists. So you come along and you discover that it's coded and that the code is the codon. You see that it's a DNA thing. How do we know it? Because of what they call the nergus. So we talking about the caduceus in Greece, the double serpent climbing the sword with the feathers at the top, the symbol of Hermes himself, right? Mm-hmm. The winged guy who was the messenger of the gods. And he always done things expeditiously, very fast. So we know him today in modern animated series as Flash. But before he was Flash, he was called Mercury. He carries the medical symbol for the modern American Medical Association. If the devil is an attorney, you didn't know doctors were attorneys either, did you? The doctor's job is not about health. They are legally responsible to maintain Lulu Amalu and keep them in a working fashion for a minimum of 60 years. They're not allowed to have the technology that can turn that 60 into 250 easy. So where do we find geneticists that can tell us the leads to finding this longer life process? The gerontologist out of UCLA Berkeley who discovered something called a human aging hormone and a receptor blocker. She's telling you what she discovered that's related to the aging process that makes the cells break down. Some of these hormones, she had to rename them or name them because they didn't know they existed. Her work is to find longevity. So the Lazarus group got people from all over the world involved in the Lazarus group, but all of them old motherfuckers like Henry Kissinger, the Rockefeller brothers, all the motherfuckers is part of the Lazarus group. It's a secret society. I think they talk about it in the X-Files and they talk about it in another TV show, but their quest is to find, it's a horror movie that talk about it too, but their quest is to find a way to eternal life. The Lazarus group was responsible for a lot of the resurgence of the old technology that Hitler recovered and learning that they had age reversing technology. Now, remember in the Bible, it's saying the Spirit of God shall not always dwell with man, for his years shall be 120. When you born, you see the third line up. It's a line over that. That's the first line. Then it's the second line, and then the third line. When you born, you approximately, that telomere is approximately to the third line. By the time you are about 60, it's right there. In order to take an eternal being and limit their life, altering the genetics, you have to clip the telomere. And once you did it, it used to cover the entire chromosome. This is when they stole our eternal life. Okay, so now they made us be where our lifespan is roughly 120 years, and that's determined by that part of the telomere.